I've never seen anything like this in the 10 years I've been in the industry.
Just make my life so much easier.
It's a big issue.
In the studio, we have a range of exciting guests from Trackunit, the industry, and partners of Trackunit, and I'm super excited to dive in. Welcome, everyone. In this episode, we're exploring how AI is shaping construction. My name is Lærke Ullerup. I'm Trackunit's Chief Product and Marketing Officer, and we've invited guests to really unpack and unfold what is going on around AI in construction. In this episode, we'll actually deep dive a little bit into our own journey with AI as a company. And for that, I've invited Evan Barnes, who is Trackunit's Chief Operating Officer, to talk to us about how we got started, where we're going, and some of the examples that we're working with in the context of AI. So great to have you here, Evan.
Likewise. Thanks, Lærke.
So tell us, how did it all start with Trackunit and AI?
I think one of the things that, we value most at Trackunit is really trying to always challenge the status quo and see what new tools, approaches, systems, ways that we can do things better, not only for our teams internally, but also for our customers. And so really, with the acceleration of obviously AI coming to market and just how easily accessible it was, really trying to dive deep in terms of how do we start to bring in this capability for our teams, not only to leverage amongst ourselves, but in the products and everything we create for our customers.
And where would you say we are on this journey now?
I mean, I think it's a very long journey, and I think that's one of the exciting parts about it. I think we've made tremendous headway in terms of starting to really bring in and incorporate a lot of these capabilities. Our approach has been a little bit, move slow to go fast. And what I mean by that is instead of just doing massive rollouts of AI like ChatGPT and others, actually finding pockets where it can create the most value, developing best practices around that to actually how to leverage the AI, and then scaling those best practices. And I think that's one of the things that we find important, not just to say we use AI, but that we use it right.
And from your point of view, why is it that it's important also looking at Trackunit's journey, our strategy, our operations? What is it, or why do you think that AI is so important for Trackunit?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different reasons. I think, one, being a very forward-leaning company, obviously there's how do we continue to find, both operational efficiencies, accelerate our pace of learning, our speed to insight on the decisions that we make. And I think that AI can play a critical role. It's not the holistic answer, but it plays a critical role in really empowering, the broader team to be even more successful in their current roles today.
And what are some of the examples of the applications that you've seen in Trackunit that you would highlight?
I think one that really stands out is our we have a best-in-class customer success organization, and their use of the intercom system has really accelerated how they engage with our customers, whether big or small, and whether the customer size or the problems that they have. And I think, the latest, stats of where we are and continuing to improve, as well as, AI actually plays a role in about 40% of solving some of these smaller customer problems. And even those of that 40%, 70% are actually solved by AI. And that really allows the team to focus on more complex challenges where the real expertise is needed and that understanding. So it's a massive capacity boost to the team. So I think that is definitely one that I'd highlight.
Do you have another?
I think a lot of it, even some of the things that we use in different functions, marketing function, how to co-create and just design or develop a broader thought process around different things. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit, even around quick assessments and just saving that 15, 30 minutes a day on kind of more mundane tasks. different capabilities like that. And I think an area where teams are starting to get really creative is actually how do they build more custom AI agents to solve some of those tasks.
Yeah. One thing that makes me excited is also seeing all of the custom GPTs that are being
Yeah.
built to really support a specific function or get quick access to that knowledge and drive that efficiency. I see that popping up every week, so that's also super cool.
Exactly.
And thinking about also how this will benefit the customers. What are your thoughts on,
Mhm.
why should the construction industry care about how Trackunit use AI?
Well, I think a lot of times, we are one of the core digital partners for a lot of our customers. And, the role that we play around AI, not only in terms of developing best practices of how we leverage it, also impacts our ability to kind of inform, coach, and also enable our customers to do the same. So I absolutely think that you have to kind of role model the behavior that you want to instill in the broader ecosystem. And I think we're doing just that. So that's one aspect. I think a lot of the other aspect is, if you think about decision making or just how we operate, a lot of AI can actually handle, a very significant part of that workload. The kind of 80% of the work around just setting some of the basic framing and foundation and kind of accelerating that process. And what that allows is it allows the experts that really know the industry to focus on that last 20% where the value is truly locked. So it really accelerates their ability by taking some of that work off their shoulders.
I'm sure they will also benefit from all the exciting things that are coming around the product.
Yeah.
So, could you talk a little bit more about how AI is finding its way into the products and the data and how we're moving there?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think a lot of obviously what we want to do is to really create impact for our customers and allow them to create impact on their own is how do we provide them the flexibility and the speed to get to those business insights that truly matter. And one of the things that AI does in terms of our product offering, enriching it with these different capabilities, is it allows them to add those subtle nuances, to make those slight tweaks to some of the problems that are really important to them. A slightly nuanced perspective on a single insight can drive a massive amount of business impact. So it's really around, the data, the industry is moving from a data is important to an insight is important to an impact is important. And it's that last step around how do you actually accelerate that speed to insight and ultimately speed to impact.
And maybe just to wrap it up here, if other companies wanted to get going and ramp up their adoption of AI, both in their products, but maybe also internally to drive efficiencies and work smarter, what would be your top three advice to someone who's looking to get started?
I would say one of the first things is really ensure, a lot of the AI is really leveraging around a lot of the data that you have available internally. And so really making sure that you're breaking down any form of data silos in your organization. The more you do that, the more impactful the AI can be. Also, there it is creating clarity on what's proper use of AI and what's improper use of AI.
Mm.
And I think that's an important thing for an organization to kind of set out from the start to give clarity to their employees and whatnot of how to use it right. So I'd say those are some of the two areas, and then I think it actually goes back a little bit to it's very easy to get very overexcited about AI, but actually focusing on what's the best practice of how we're going to do it, and scaling best practices versus just scaling access to a tool. I
Mm.
think that's really where giving access is one thing, but when you can replicate how to make it as impactful as possible, really focusing on scaling that first.
And how do you get then the people to really play and experiment and try it out? What's been, some of your learnings there?
I think it's in general, I think everybody has an appreciation for AI. There's an excitement around what it can do. I mean, I remember the first time I used ChatGPT is kind of wow, like it's answering my questions. I think what you see is you want to really identify those people that can truly be those whether it's role models or champions, again, not just in terms of using the tool, but how they actually change their daily way of working. And then you can create those success stories because I think a lot of people want to use it and they start to use it. But to get to that second and third level of value, they need a little more help in how should I use it?
Hmm.
And so that's really finding those champions, setting those best practices, and then creating an enablement program around that is very important to actually driving a lot higher level of impact that you want to have.
Hey, most people can use a little help and a little
Absolutely.
bit of guidance. So thank you so much, Evan, for sharing your thoughts here on our journey with AI. And thank you to those of you watching here. We'll be back with more episodes soon.